All right, you guys, happy Friday and welcome to our Superstar Hot Seat Call. I am so excited to be here. I am so excited to learn. My name is Jessica Lanier, and I'm one of the coaches in our 5 to 8 star hot seat calls that we did in May, and this was our Success Club prize. So I'm super stoked about it. Can you guys hear me okay with the madness of the tractor in the background run by my 2-year-olds? Good. Okay, good. Okay, so we've got 4 incredible superstars, and we're just going to dive in. So today we're going to be chatting with Micah Folsom, Elizabeth Hartke, Kristi, Kronser, and Ruth Shrauner. So excited to learn from them. And we're just going to kind of go into asking them to share with us a little bit about how they got started, because I feel like sometimes we look at these people who have this incredibly successful business that we admire and we aspire to, and sometimes it feels intangible. And I love all of their stories of how they got started, because they all started where we started, right? And if you're a brand new coach, you could totally be there if that's your goal. So I'd love to hear how you guys got into coaching, and how you grew your business. And then we are asking you to share basically your best piece of advice for us to continue to show up and grow our business through the 2020 unreal movie that it seems to have become. Through all the hardships and the ups and downs and the valleys of this year, what's your best advice for us to continue showing up? And then at the end, we're going to open it up for question and answer. So I will go ahead and Micah, would you like to start us off?
Sure. I actually have to jump off at the 30-minute mark too. But I'm here for the first 30. Okay. So I started 7 years ago. It'll be 7 years in July. And I was introduced to Beachbody 11 years ago. So 11 years ago, I started 10-minute trainer, ordered it off of an infomercial, finished that after I had my first baby. And then I did Insanity after that from an infomercial. And so I was in the Beachbody ecosystem for about 4 years without ever knowing that coaching was a thing. I do remember getting a message from some random dude telling me that he was my coach. And I was like, well, that's weird. Delete. And I just moved on. So now I don't blame any of my people when they delete my message, and just because people don't know. They don't know that we're normal humans that just want to help them. So that happened. And then it was after my second baby. I was a full-time wedding photographer. My husband was in his second year of vet school. And I just found myself in that same place. I felt like crap. I was last on the totem pole. I just needed something. So I went back to Insanity because I knew it worked. But I was burnt out. I was burnt out of doing it over and over and over again, never finishing it. I would always start and stop. And so I just started searching on Instagram, and I was probably looking at Beachbody something or other because I knew Beachbody programs worked. And I found this random girl who had a picture of her 6-pack, and she was running a group, and Les Mills Combat Challenge Pack was on sale that month. And so I was like, sweet, I'm going to just do this. I'm going to do this program. I'm going to try this Shakeology. And I would have never gotten Shakeology by itself, but because it was on sale with a challenge pack, I got it, tried it, and a week in, I loved it. I felt the benefits. I told my husband, hey, I need to keep using this. I need to figure out how I can pay for this, because Shakeology at the time was a quarter of our grocery bill, and we could not afford it. I could not justify paying that just myself. And so I was doing some research and was like, there's this coach thing. I can get a savings. So I'm going to get the savings. I'm going to help a few friends maybe and get it covered. So that was literally all I wanted. I didn't understand network marketing. I didn't understand how the business worked. I didn't understand anything. So I signed up, posted about doing a challenge group, talked to my friends, filled a group that week with 7 or 8 people, and literally just fell in love with the entire process of helping other women have a solution that I was looking for, and have been doing it ever since. So it's kind of I'm basic. I've been basic from the beginning, and I continue to be basic, and I continue to just do the most simple things of helping people get healthy and then empowering them to pay it forward and to share this gift, because I truly feel like it's such a gift. And that's just how it's all rolled for 7 years straight.
I love that. It's so powerful. Okay, would you share with us in your experience? And I think I love hearing from different coaches on this because I think everyone's opinion perspective might be a little bit different. But in the midst of 2020, what are you telling your team? Like, how do you keep showing up in the midst of everything going on? What's your best piece of advice for us?
Yeah, I just feel like what we do is so fundamental to just overall health and happiness, period. Like what we do on the most basic level is what healthy, happy humans should be doing anyways, no matter what's going on in life. So like, especially for our coaches, leaning into the opportunity and just leading with their journey, being that example, being the light, being this beacon of like hope through tragedy and through hard times and through all of this stuff. I feel like we just have such an opportunity to show up. And like, what a blessing that showing up for your job is taking care of yourself, taking care of your mindset, continuing to love and serve and help human beings. Like, I just feel like it's, I don't know. I just feel like we've been like molded for this time. Like the world needs us right now to be that example and to continue to like reach back, take their hand and like pull them through such a hard time for so many people who have zero hope right now. And so that's how I'm kind of teaching my team, like just continue to be a light, continue to make yourself a priority through all of this. And people need us more than ever. So right now is not the time to like go silent and stop showing up and stop sharing.
Totally agree. We're such a light in a world that so needs it right now. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, Liz, you are up.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. So similar to Micah, I came in customer first. I had put on weight after college. I'd had 5 knee surgeries that kind of became my excuse as to why I was allowed to put on weight and unable to lose it. So I had bad knees was kind of my thing. And I had been an athlete my whole life and then just kind of stepped into the corporate world where I was sedentary, sitting, toxic environment and not taking care of myself. And my journey into Beachbody started with going to a yoga studio one day and seeing a brochure for Shakeology literally sitting on the shelf with some dude's name literally like ghetto scribbled on the back of it. It was like whiteout. So, because it was a black brochure, they had used whiteout so that their name would be seen, and then with a pen, the name Keith Callahan and an email were written on the back. So I brought that to my nutritionist and my chiropractor and the people that I trusted in my life with my health and said, I'm looking for a sustainable, long-term healthy solution. And kind of how I qualified healthy at that time. I mean, I was 21 years old and wasn't married and didn't have kids yet, but I had that vision for my life. And I was like, the way that I determine what's healthy truly at a core level is, can I take this if I were pregnant someday? Like, that's how I know it's whole food nutrition. And when they all gave me that green light, I was like, all right, let's do this. So I started just customer. I think Keith, if I'm remembering correctly, Keith signed me up as a coach without really telling me. I must have given him my social. I was an idiot. I was like 21, had no idea who this guy was. And he had brought up the coaching opportunity to me and I very quickly shut it down. So I didn't even really know, I didn't understand what coaching was. And I just started on my own journey and it became very organic to learn more about coaching, because when you really are the poster child for our products because you're experiencing them and you have that glow of just, it's not even like, you don't even have to have lost the weight yet. There's a glow that you get when you make a decision in anything in your life, when you at a core level decide to take back control of what's yours and seek the life that you want to be living. And that was what I was doing in drinking my shake. That was what I was doing when I was coming home from a long day of work and at 9 p.m. starting my P90X workouts. Like that's what I was doing at a fundamental level. And one day I was at work on a particularly crappy day after a poor, crappy discussion with my manager, and was scrolling on Facebook when I was supposed to be working, and I saw Keith out, who I had started following on Facebook, out hiking in the middle of a random weekday. And I was like, you know what? Like, I keep seeing this dude just doing things that I want to be doing, and it looks like he has a lot of freedom. Like, why is he able to do this on a weekday? So I reached out to him and I was like, what do you do? And he's like, I'm a Beachbody coach. I'm like, no, I get that. I know we already talked about how I'm not doing that, but like, what else do you do? What kind of business do you run? Why do you have all this freedom? He's like, I'm a Beachbody coach. And I couldn't like wrap my brain around that. I'm like, yeah, like, I know you sold me the shake, but like, are you a trust fund baby? Why do you get to be like out doing whatever you want in the middle of a Tuesday? And that was when I first opened my mind to, okay, I will listen to and have a conversation about this whole coaching thing that you told me about, but you're not going to twist my arm, and I will decide for myself. And it was because like basically what we do as coaches, both on the health and fitness side of things and with the business, is just show people what's possible. The reason that we invite, the reason that we put it out there, the reason that we speak about the opportunity, the reason that we talk about our products, aside from them being truly world-class and life-changing, is that it's showing people that what's available, right? Like, so I learned after years of going to the gym and not getting the results I wanted, that there was another way in health and fitness and nutrition. And then with the business, it was like seeing this guy doing this and working in network marketing, which I had never even heard of. That was a new path for me. So he showed me what was available, and then he showed me what was possible with what was available. A lot of times we show people, so like a lot of times coaches will show people what is available, but they are not backing it up and making it happen for themselves. So they are not the people showing them what's possible. That's why people don't want to work with you. But when you put in the hard work, both into your fitness, your nutrition, and into your business, now all of a sudden you're shifting from availability, here's a product that someone could find online, to possibility, here's how I can show you the way there. And that was just really my process. Like once I understood the power of the network marketing business model and the power specifically of Beachbody, all bets were off. Like I didn't do it right, and I had no clue what I was doing, and I was, stumbling my way through the process, but I made a decision pretty early on that this was going to be the thing that gave me the freedom that I saw Keith having. And I didn't care how long, it took me a long time, but I didn't care how long it was going to take because I already could see that it was possible for me. So that was what was going to happen for me. And that's the path that I've been on since. It's been about 8 years.
I love your story every time I hear it. So Liz's abs are what got me into Beachbody coaching.
Former abs. This was years ago. Since abandoned me.
I love it so much. Okay, and then I've learned being on your team and getting to learn from you as my leader how powerful vision is. And I'd love to kind of hear your take on what we're going through. Like I've learned from you too, that through hardships, there are opportunities to shine brighter, and there are opportunities in it to, not in a way to capitalize on something horrible that's happening, but in a different way. There's opportunities to really reach people when they need us the most. So what is your best piece of advice for us in the middle of all of this, of how to keep showing up and continue to grow our business?
Yeah. Well, first of all, like it's kind of life. Like so at different points in life, we are sheltered from chaos, but there's always chaos ensuing in the world. And it's just really what the media is highlighting. So the reality is that like life is always crazy. Even in the walls of our own home, we experience traumas and struggles and heartbreak. And that's the human existence. So to be naive to think that like this is not going to be a perpetual loop for the remainder of our existence on this planet is just that. It's naive. So like that's why it's so important to be rock solid in a vision, because then when those times arise, because in like undoubtedly they will, you know where you're going, you know who you are, you know what your true north is, and you can aim at that even in those moments where it feels really difficult. And right now we're obviously in there's a dynamic to the world that like things are shifting. I think 2020 really is that pivotal year that change is coming in many different ways. But to Micah's point, like that's one of the blessings in what we do is at a fundamental level, people need what we have no matter what's going on in the world. And we can't abandon that truth. And I think when stuff hits the fan, it's an amplifier. Like when things are as crazy as they are in many different ways, all it's going to do is it's revealing, right? Like we are going to see very quickly, let's speak to Beachbody specifically, but even throughout the world, the amplification of what's already true. So the leaders that are real leaders, they're going to be amplified and magnified, and they're going to rise up even more. Like this is like when things get tough, leaders shine brighter. But then there's going to be an amplification and a magnifying glass on the people who've been faking it till they make it, and that don't have that character at the core in like why they're doing this, how they're serving others, how they're turning outward, how like where they're going, what they believe to be true. And those leaders are going to be, they've built their foundation on sand and they're going to sink. So you have to also make a decision as to which leader you want to be, because the nice thing in it is that you have a choice in that. I'm not talking about people who are like, they were naturally born with a certain gift. I'm talking about the people who have been cultivating and crafting who they want to become in the process of going for whatever it is they say they want. And I think one of the keys in all of it is just like that authenticity. Like it has to be real. We have to shift from, you know, I used to say all the time to my coaches, might have been pre you, Jess, I can't remember, but fake it till you make it. Like, oh, you don't know how to do a social media thing, just fake it till you make it. Or like you got to lead your team and you're scared, to just fake it till you make it. And there's some truth in that of like, yeah, you do really have to rise up, but like we have to shift from fake it till you make it, especially all of you on this call, because you're at a certain place, to be it. Like, and if you have to embody that leader that you need in your own life and that you need to be for your team. So this is a time to double down, in my opinion. It's not a time to pump the brakes or be gentle. It's a time to be real. And it's the reality that 2020 is a growth year. But when people say growth year, sometimes I think they interpret it as, great, this is my year to not hit any of the benchmarks or goals that I said that I was going to achieve, because I'm growing this year. 2021 will be my year for advancement. I'm saying that's choosing to pause the business. You have to be seriously invested in both and realize that as you grow, there will be wins in the business that come because of that growth. So I would say my biggest piece of advice is, aside from I am kind of the broken record on like, be rock solid in that vision and know what you want, know your through line to get you there, right? Like know where you are today and know where you want to go, but then also be hyper aware of what's required of you, both in your own personal growth and leadership and in the business, to get to that vision, so that you are not shocked come December 31st when you're like, what the heck? I had these big goals and none of them came to be. It's like where you were aware of that through line all the way through from, you know, like where you are, where you stand right now and where you say you want to be.
Gosh, so good. So powerful. Thank you so much, Liz. Okay, Kristi, we are turning it over to you.
Hi. Yeah, so I have been a coach, maybe the longest here. I've been a coach for 9 years. Those 9 years in April. My story is a little bit different. I didn't start as a customer. I had never done any of the programs. I was searching for an opportunity. I was working in finance and training for an Ironman triathlon and barely able to pay my student loans, and was looking for a second job, really. And when I found coaching, I was like, wait, I get to help people in fitness and they pay me? Like, this is crazy. This is what I've been searching for so long. But by week 2, my coach disappeared. So I was kind of left out to like, okay, I have a decision right now. Do I go all in because I was really excited about this opportunity, or, you know, someone disappeared. Is this really a thing? Is it fake? Is it a scam? Like, maybe I should just give up. But I was listening to the National Coach Wake Up Calls because that was all I had. There wasn't training. We had no training in the coach office back then. There weren't YouTube videos. And I think it was Lindsay Matway on the National Coach Wake Up Call, and she was sharing how she had paid off $400,000 I can actually do something that matters every single day. And this is what I've been searching for, like freedom in my life, not having a boss tell me when I have to take vacation, not having a boss tell me when I have to be to work. Like, I'm a hard worker, but I want to do something that matters, and I want to do something where I can actually get ahead. And so I went all in probably like on month 2, was like, I'm going to work until this happens. I don't know what that looks like. My coach disappeared. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know where I'm going. And from month 2, I was like, I'm going to be superstar diamond coach this year. Had no idea. I was super naive. It took me 60 days to get to diamond. So I thought that everybody would take 60 days to get to diamond. But yeah, I went all in and made that decision that there was no plan B. There was no other option. I cut off all other options. And by my year mark, my part-time income with coaching surpassed my full-time income. And I left my full-time job in finance, and that was like 8 years ago. So yeah, I've just been consistent. And I showed up to be the leader that I didn't have. Like, I made that decision in the beginning that, my coach disappeared, but I wanted to be that person that my team could count on, and be rock solid and show up every day. And, at the end of every day, I look and I'm like, if my team all did what I did today, would they be successful? And I always want that answer to be yes. So yeah, that's a little bit about how I got started. I got started for the business. I didn't know anything about the products.
Gosh, I love that. I showed up to be the leader that I didn't have. I think that's so powerful for everyone. I mean, obviously, everyone on this call has incredible uplines. But if you're in a situation, I think that we all see some coaches that put blame on, well, I didn't get started the right way, or I didn't have this resource, or I didn't know this. And I think what you just said is so powerful, is that we have to do some self-reflection on, if my coaches do what I'm doing, will they be successful? And that is so powerful. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, your turn to give us your golden nugget of advice on how to get through the rest of 2020 and keep showing up.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because I love what both Micah and Liz have said, but when I look back to my business in month 2, I had a lot of personal crap that happened. My grandfather passed away. I was moving. My husband and I were moving in together. We were going on vacation. I was getting my master's. I was building this business. I was working full time. I was training for an Ironman. So there was a lot going on. And when my grandfather passed away, I didn't have the time to be there for my family. And so it added a whole nother level of chaos in my life. And I had to make that decision in month 2 early on, like, do you really want this? Are you going to show up for the goals you have for your life? Are you going to sacrifice for what you want, or are you going to sacrifice for what you don't want? And I made that decision then. And I think that was so powerful because throughout all the chaos, like, I started this business when we were in a recession. So I'm used to it being that way, I guess. And there've been plenty of things throughout, like last year in California, we had rolling blackouts. And so I was without power and internet for 3 weeks. Like, couldn't even go to a coffee shop. There was no power or internet at the coffee shops, and we live out in the boondocks and I don't have Wi-Fi, right? So personal chaos is, I've built my business through that. And whenever, I feel like when it's personal, it's almost more difficult because other people don't know what's going on around you, right? And when it's on more of a global scale or a national scale, everybody is going through that. And in that moment, we have the decision, do we shrink or do we rise? And people need you to rise because most people are going to shrink. And so it actually opens a really big opportunity for us to shine. Like it creates a huge opportunity for us to say, like, we are here and we are rock solid in the vision that we have for our lives. We're rock solid in the mission that we are wanting to accomplish. And I know I got on our team call on Wednesday, and I just shared from my heart and said, this is what I'm doing. I'm going all in. Like, people need our positive energy more than ever before. And my team got off and they were messaging me and they're like, I needed that. I'm so fired up now. I'm ready to go help people. So you have the opportunity to be that for your team right now. Like, you get to show them with your actions. Are you showing up on social media? Are you doing your workouts? Are you inviting? Are you sharing this opportunity? And like I had a couple new coaches get started yesterday, and the woman said to me, she's like, I'm a stay-at-home mom and I need something for me right now. And I'm tired of the negative energy and I want to be a positive energy. I want positive energy. I want to be around others that are bringing that, and you're bringing that. And I need that in my life. And so every single one of you have the opportunity to do that. And it feels good. Like, why wouldn't we? Because being in that negative space, and like I felt it for a day and I was like, I don't want this. I know the habits that bring me joy, and I want to make sure that I show up every day to bring that to my life so that I can give that to others.
Yes, I love it so much, so much. Thank you. Okay, Micah, I know before we go to you, Ruth, real quick, I know Micah's got to jump off, and Melissa, I think, had a question specifically for you, Micah. Melissa, you want to unmute yourself? Are you able to?
Yep. So, Micah, you talk a lot about do your crap, and it's so simple, but I think there's a lot of newer coaches on here that maybe could benefit from just hearing just how simple it is. But I think you're also really bold in that. So that's all.
Yeah. So my do your crap, really, you guys, the business, there's so many like different elements and things, but the most essential things are so simple. So if you keep the most essential things, the IPAs, showing up on your journey, connecting with humans, expanding your network, inviting, following up, like doing the most important things every single day, whether you feel like it, whether you don't feel like it, whether you're in a good mood, whether the world is falling apart, like you just have to literally be so committed to just the simple things and let everything else fall to the wayside. So when I say do your crap, it's stop worrying about everything else going on that you could be doing, making pretty graphics, creating some training, doing all this fluffy stuff that you think might be a good idea. If you're not doing the most essential stuff, your business will crumble. Like it really will. So keep the most important stuff. And then when you have extra time, you can do the extra things and you can create new resources and all that stuff. But it really is what has built my business 7 years in is what I was doing at the beginning. And it's because I'm at the level that I'm at because I've continued to do those things while adding on other things because I've delegated other aspects of it. You know what I mean? So I just feel like lots of people get stuck in their head, and I'll even have coaches that are like, okay, I have 3 hours to work my business. So after my power hour, what do I do next? I'm like, power hour again, and then power hour again. Like you just do more of those things. So if you guys really want to see growth in your business, just elevate the amount of essential things you're doing and you'll get better at them. You'll hone in on those skills. You'll become more efficient so you can actually do more with the time that you have. And those are the things that are going to move you forward. So that's basically it in a nutshell, is just really keep it simple and make sure that the most important stuff is getting done no matter what.
I love it. Thank you so much, Melissa. I'm so glad you asked that because I think from new coach through diamond, especially when a lot of coaches hit diamond, I'm sure we all see this and they're like, all of a sudden I have to create my own trainings. Now I have to do, all these graphics and stuff. And it's not it's not true. Like staying in that phase one is so important. Thank you so much, Micah. Thank you so much for being here. Buddy, hold on. Okay, Ruth, we are turning it over to you.
All right. It's so funny. Micah said she joined 10 years ago with 10-Minute Trainer, or that's when she was introduced to Beachbody World. I bought 10-Minute Trainer 12 years ago, and I took my before photos, and I literally never did a single workout. I think I put one in and I watched it. I kid you not. Never did it. Anyways, so I was familiar with Beachbody before, but then fast forward to my wedding in 2010, I wanted to get fit. At that time, I got burned copies of Insanity. This is when I fell in love with Beachbody, the company. I got burned copies of Insanity. I then burned them for other people. Then I taught Insanity classes that I was not certified to teach in the school district I work as a teacher. So to say I was like Beachbody's biggest advocate before I was ever a coach is an understatement. Unlike Micah, though, I reached out to my free coach. I saw this free coach thing and I was like, can I please get some? I want to be super skinny for my wedding. And I was like, all I wanted to do. I reached out to my coach 2 or 3 times. Some guy, I can't decide if I hate him or love him for never responding to me, because I wasn't the person I needed to be in 2010 to be a coach. But he never responded. Fast forward 2014, I was the yo-yo dieter, queen of restrictive dieting, like literally carrots, yogurt, lettuce, chicken. I would do that every January. We would do Biggest Loser in my school, and I got second place 2 years running. That's how great of a yo-yo dieter I was. So 2014, I was like, I actually want to lose this 10 pounds. I'm tired of it. I actually love gym and group fitness stuff, but I just couldn't find one that fit into my time. So I was like, I've got to do this at home. I was seeing 21 Day Fix and T25. I had heard about that through other people. So I got on Instagram and Google, and you guys, I was literally searching 21 Day Fix results and T25 results, trying to figure out what to do. And specifically, I was looking for a girl who had my before body and whose after body I wanted. I was like, I didn't care about anyone else's results. I just wanted the girl who had my before body, and then she had my aspirational after body. So I found this girl who I was like, I want her body and I look like her before picture. I filled out her application. In this process, what I want you guys to understand is I was all over so many top coaches' websites. At this time, I was aware that coaches ran online boot camps because of what I'd seen online. So I was all over so many top coaches' websites. And it didn't matter to me anything about who they were except their before picture. That was it, and their after picture. Anyway, so I found this girl. I filled out her application. She didn't message me. I was a psycho. I wanted her to be my coach. I got on Facebook and found her. I messaged her on Facebook, hey, did you get my application? She responded pretty quickly, and she was like, oh, did you want to be a coach or something like that? And I was like, no, I don't want to be coach. I just need to be coached. Well, I guarantee you this girl was like, oh, I really want coaches. She didn't respond to me for 7 days. Okay. So in this time frame, I went and I was still like doing all this research. I was like, what the heck? I bought 21 Day Fix, just the regular package from beachbody.com. So I ordered 21 Day Fix by myself already in that 7 days. But somehow my search took me to my now coach. And here's what happened. I have no idea how I landed on her page because she doesn't even do a lot of before photos. But somehow I stumbled up on her page, Jessica Bowser Nelson, and she had this video on YouTube, and it was her in her backyard, like holding her selfie cam. So not professional, just super like real. And she was talking about how she earned 5 figures in this business in 1 week. And I was like, wait, coaches aren't free? Time out. I thought you guys were free. I didn't know I could earn money. And I was like, and are you serious? You earn 5 figures? That sounds stupid. But if you could do that, I could surely earn $500 a month. So had that girl I messaged about her boot camp simply said to me, are you curious? Are you interested in earning money by sharing your weight loss journey? I would have been like, wait, what do you mean? I can do that? But I didn't know. I literally thought they were free coaches. I saw all the free coaches you can get on Insanity for years. You guys are free, right? But she didn't say that. I was $245,000 in debt at the time. We were struggling financially. So when I thought I could earn $500, I was looking for part-time jobs to do. I had a master's degree. My husband is an equine surgeon by trade. He doesn't do that anymore. But I was like, I was going to go work at a bar on the weekends. Hell yeah. Like, tell me what to do. I signed up. I filled out my Coach Jessica's app. She messaged me back immediately. I literally ordered another challenge pack because she told me that's what I needed. I sent back my 21 Day Fix, my base pack. And I was in it for the business from the moment I heard there was a financial opportunity, because I already knew I loved our programs. I was like, I have been like stealing your guys' stuff for years. I might as well now do it legally. Let's make this right. So I was in it for the business from day one when I found this opportunity, and I treated it like that. And I thought to myself, how did I get here? And it was someone rocked out their results. And so my first goal as a new coach was to get the best results possible with 21 Day Fix. And I literally studied that book like a Bible. I did it to a T. I did use my swaps. July 4th was in there. So, I was having my cocktails and a little extra guac that day. But I got insane results in 21 days. And that jump started my business. And I went all in, ran my own challenge group from the start. And one thing I will say is I don't know if you guys see it as much, but there used to be this sign that said coaches change lives. And I hated that sign when I started. I was like, y'all aren't changing anyone's life. Get over yourself. Like, that's cute. Like, that's your way of like covering up the money making side, but you're just selling a workout program. That's what I thought until I helped my first person. And I got that first message. I got a phone call from one of my challengers who I hadn't talked to in years. She was a girl from college. And she called me when she finished crying because she was so happy that she learned how to eat for life. And I went and found that sign. I was like, coaches change lives. Oh my God. And I was all in from that. And I wanted everybody to have that life-changing experience with me. And I was screaming at the rooftops.
Oh my gosh. I love these stories so much. They're so inspiring. Sorry, I have to get closer to my internet. Thank you so much, Ruth, for sharing all of that. I think that is so powerful. Can you guys hear me okay? Making sure. Okay, perfect. Okay, so
You're
Ruth.
cutting out really bad for me. I don't know if anyone else.
Am I?
Okay, now you're good.
Are we better?
Yeah, yep.
Sorry, I went to go chase a child. Okay, so I would love to hear from you. I know you're a new twin mama and your babies are so cute. So in the midst of this, being a mom of twins, in the midst of the world and what it's going through, I'd love to hear your golden nugget for us of what are you telling your team as to how we show up through all this hardship.
Yes. So first I just want to echo everyone's sentiments. What every other coach has said, 100% agree. I'm going to take like a truth bomb approach to this and hit it from a different side. And how many of you guys on here, by show of hands, have a full-time job currently or a part-time job that you still work? There are a lot of you on here that do. Okay, some of you. And then a lot of you guys don't have your thing. And then how many of you guys are moms or stay-at-home moms and you're still showing up every day? Okay. So if you still have a job, are you calling your boss and saying, hey, like, there's just been a lot going on lately and I don't think I'm going to come in. Like, life's stressful. It's really negative out there. I think I'm just going to stay at home today and hang out in bed. Is that okay? But can you guys go ahead and pay me? Right? What would your boss say? Right? And if you have kids, are you looking at your kids and saying, you guys, social media is really negative. The world is really hard right now. Let's lay in bed all day long and do nothing and not show up to life today. Like, no, you're not doing that, right? This is a business and you have to treat it like a business and you have to show up like a business. And when you do that, and I know it's a totally different thing than what we've discussed, and I agree with everything that everyone has already said, but like, take the feelings and the emotions out of it, y'all. Like, if this is your paycheck, especially if this is your full-time, like if this is your livelihood, like what, you don't have an option in my mind. Like you need to find a reason to show up, treat it like a job, treat it like an 8 to 5, right? Take the emotions out and do it anyways. And I'll tell you from personal experience, when I was going through IVF and infertility, and those were like one of the hardest times for me, there would be moments where I was literally like crying about what was happening in my personal life. And I'd feel those moments and maybe I'd lay in bed for 2 hours and cry and feel bad for myself. And then I would suck it up and I would move forward. And I would literally be getting on a live with my team page or a live in my challenge group or posting on social media because it made me better. It made me better. What else was I going to do? Lay in bed like for the entire year and a half it took me to get pregnant and just like wallow? How would that help me? Would that have made me become better? Absolutely not. It would have forced me back. it would have caused more damage than anything. And so like whenever I'm going through something hard, and I'm not saying don't feel the pain that you need to feel. I'm not saying, feel the pain, feel the emotion, take, that day. I definitely have, times where I need a day or I need a few hours, but then I come back, because in that I grow as a person, I get better, and I look to the positive things in my life. I see all the beauty in life still. And I grow through this opportunity and by putting one foot in front of the other.
Gosh, that's so good. And such a good reminder, that there's so much that we can't control in life. And I've always been a firm believer too, and I've heard this through all four of you, is that we have a choice still. We have a choice. We can't control everything, but we have a choice how we're going to perceive everything and how we're going to choose to react to it. And how do we want to show our kids, and the people around us, what kind of character we have when life gets hard. And I've just seen that exemplified through all of you guys. And I thank you so much for sharing your stories. They're so inspiring, and sharing your pieces of wisdom with us. So, okay. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and type it in the chat box or unmute yourself. I saw a couple in here.
I've got one for you guys. It's kind of on behalf of all my coaches that are like on that brink of almost leaving their job or staying at home now with their kids. They want to know from the top of the top, you guys, how you efficiently find those time blocks, or do you time block to work with kids at home? So what's your strategy for finding time to still work and then also be a full-time stay-at-home mama?
Good question. Liz, I know you have to jump off in a second, and I know you time block. Do you want to share with us what your skills are?
Evolution of this process. I am not an organized person, and I want to just put the disclaimer on the fact that if you were like me in the beginning, thinking that if I just get organized or if I just master my schedule, I can finally be successful, that is a myth. Like, my desktop has overlapping, probably like 200 overlapping photos on it, zero organization. Like, you don't need that to be successful. It's just more of like a thorn in your side. But what I've done that has helped me immensely with 3 little kids at home and running this business is, like Jess said, time blocking. So if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. And I remember being challenged by one of my mentors saying, open your calendar, show me your business growth strategy. And I'm like, he opens my calendar and there's like nothing. Now, if you open my calendar weeks in advance, you see every prospect call that I'm going to have with a potential coach. You see every one-on-one that I'm having with my leaders. You see the pods that I run with my coaches and the leadership calls and the group calls. You see when I'm doing a live business opportunity presentation. So you see the like things that have a time associated with them, but then the things that don't, this is where people get tripped up. The things that don't typically have a necessary time, right? Like, so this call is at this time. The things like when you're going to do the work to invite to the business opportunity presentation, when you're going to go into your inbox and answer those messages, when you're going to do the leadership growth exercises and read the books and implement what you learned, that also needs to be on the calendar. So I keep business hours. I'm very vigilant and disciplined with that. Vigilant in the sense that I look out for anything that could permeate my freedom of time with my family, and diligent in keeping them. And I block periods of time to do stuff. So like, I have a time block in my calendar every Monday for 3 hours to write content. So that's social media content, blog content. I have a podcast, so creating content for that. I have time blocks for when my coaches can schedule one-on-one calls with me. So I know in that time, like, my schedule is going to fill up. So using, like, your time blocks might look very different than mine now that, I've been a full-time coach for years. But if you're working in the pockets of the day, like many of us do in the beginning, you have to use those pockets strategically and know ahead of time how that you're going to use them. Because if you know okay, I have a pocket of time tonight from 8 to 9 p.m. and you sit down at 8 p.m. and say, how am I use this time? You've just wasted precious moments of your pocket of time. But if you sit down at 8 p.m. and set the timer on your phone and you know you're going right into this activity, boom, you're like maximizing every split second you have. So you have to be like, you know, Ruth was saying, like, you got to treat this like a business. You got to be strategic. You got to be masterful in how you are the boss. So you have to like manage yourself. No one's going to tell you how to do it, when to do it. Your coach isn't going to be your mommy and check in and say, hey, did you do your business? Or at least I don't, business activity tracker. Like, that's on you. This is your business. You're building it for you. So using your calendar, like, you know, sometimes I'll challenge my coaches, how many calls do you have scheduled this week? Well, none. Okay, that's a problem. That's not a business. You're running a hobby. You got to get that calendar working for you. So that's my best tip in that category.
So good. So good.
I have a
Okay.
question.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, I was just going to ask, so do you think you should have every day have a post with a bunch of information, or can you take a different approach and just kind of post like daily life rather than having super like content about coaching and all that jazz every single day? How do you guys do the everyday post approach? What do you suggest?
Anyone? Sorry, I don't know who to call on for these things. Ruth or Kristi, do you guys have any tips?
You want to jump on that one, Kristi, or you want me to talk to it?
You can.
Okay, so just like making sure I understand your question, just like tips on how to strategize your posting. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like so my coach, she's fantastic. She posts every day, and it's usually like 6 paragraphs of why she became a coach, or the next day is like the opportunities, where sometimes I just post, oh, kicking it, you know, and I just have my foot up in the air type of thing. Like, do you recommend having 6 paragraph post type of thing every single day? And that, I mean, she brought me in with her post, so obviously it worked, but I just want to hear other approaches maybe.
Yeah, well, I think it's totally fine to differentiate. Like, not every single post has to be 6 paragraphs and deep level, right? Some coaches slay that area, but if you told me I needed to do that every day, I'd be like, whoa, I'm gonna hide in my shell now. Like, how am I supposed to do that? I'm a very passionate, driven person as well. I really suck at organization, and I really suck at time blocking, and I definitely don't schedule. Like, I'm like listening to Kristi or Elizabeth. I'm like, oh God, I suck so bad. So I'm more passionate driven, but you also do have to be aware of, like, I know where I'm slacking and I know where I need to pick up in that too. So I think you need to identify what you're passionate about in this business and your health and fitness journey, right? And those become kind of, I call them like buckets, if you will. So I have buckets I pull from. So there's my health and fitness journey, and there's like accountability, yo-yo dieting, self-love, 30-minute workouts versus hours that I used to spend, right? So I have like buckets that I can pull from, anything like that. Then I have my coach stuff over here, and I talk about how coaching has impacted me. And same thing, I have buckets over there, like $245,000 in student loan debt when I started, no confidence, moved all the time, very little community where I was at. And so like I'm pulling from those different areas. And yeah, some of them are going to be deep and long. Others are going to be short, sweet, and simple. And then there's also the other pillar, which is just like who I am outside of all of this, right? So just like kids, or my husband's weirdo grass obsession that he has, just entertaining things. So just like, it's okay to differentiate as long as you're consistent in sharing, consistent in showing up, and people are getting to know you and you are giving value back to the world.
I think that's perfectly
Thank
said.
you.
I'm going to ask a question that's put in the chat box, because I think a lot of people, I think this goes along with social media posting, and a lot of people ask this question. It was from Gianna, I think. Any tips on signing coaches? I tend to always have an easy time with signing customers up, but never tend to attract people interested in coaching.
I love this question. So with coaching, what I have found with a lot of the coaches on my team, because I mostly sign coaches and I mostly talk about the coach opportunity because I think that's our biggest gift. Like, yes, I love helping people with fitness, but I love helping people with fitness and earning extra income or a full-time income and changing their family's financial future as well. Like, that is the entire package to me. So why wouldn't I offer that to people? So that's just how I am in my business, and everyone's different in how they do that. But if you're wanting to attract and enroll more coaches, are you talking about coaching? Like, if I look on your stories or on your social media, can I tell I can do what you do? And just like, I think, who was it earlier that was saying Ruth was like, the person didn't say she could earn an income. Like, do they know they can do what you do? Do they know that you earn an income? Do they know they can earn an income too? And I talk about coaching every single day in some form or fashion in my stories. You know that I'm a coach. You know that my team is getting results. You know that I'm getting results, not just in my fitness, but in the business. And you can do that by sharing stories of people on, like, from today. Like, you could go live on or talk on your stories about our stories and what we've accomplished and how you're excited for the vision you have for your life. But are you sharing that every day? And if you're wanting more coaches, you have to talk about coaching more. I know that's really simple, but when I scroll through people's social media, they're not. And I just, and a lot of people are afraid to talk about it. And I think that is our biggest gift and our biggest opportunity. So what has it done for you? What are the benefits? Is it that you have more time with your family, that you're able to put gas in your car, go to the grocery store and buy the things you want instead of take things out of your cart? Like, those little stories are so impactful. And that's why most people sign up. It's not for the 6-figure, 7-figure incomes. It's so they have that time with their family, so they can buy organic foods at the grocery store, so they can pay for Shakeology. And you all have really powerful stories, but you have to have confidence and boldness in sharing them every single day.
Amen. I think that was the perfect answer. And I love what Ruth had said too, is really asking yourself, how many coach invites are you sending? How many people are you actually inviting to the business? And I think that this topic goes along with what we asked each of you to share, is in the struggle. So how many people are afraid to invite to coaching or talk about it? That's such a common issue that a lot of coaches have. And I remember having a place in my business too, where I was like, I can't let this stop me anymore. I'm going to take a month to dedicate to learning why I'm afraid to invite to coaching. And I'm going to dive into it. I'm going to start teaching about it on YouTube. And I think that's what it takes, is us running towards our fears and figuring it out rather than avoiding it. So thank you so much for sharing that. Kristi, this question came in for you as well, and I believe it's from Amethyst. What was the massive action you took to have such success in 1 year?
Yeah, it really was. I had very little time, and so I didn't have time to overthink anything. I couldn't overthink anything because it was so limited. I only had time to do those income producing activities. I only had time to send my invites, to post to social. Like, I couldn't even overthink the social media post because I didn't have an hour to get a post out. Like, it needed to be a couple minutes and put something up and go send those invites and send follow-ups. And I think it was the biggest blessing that I didn't have any extra time, because there was no overthinking happening. And when I looked at the invites, back then we didn't have a business tracker. We had what was called the 10 game plan commitment. And it said, invite 2 to 5 people a day. And I looked at that and I thought, well, I really suck at this. So I'm not going to go with 2 to 5. I'm going to 10X that. I need to invite 20 to 30 a day, because if I'm really bad, I'm going to have really bad success rate, right? But the more I do it, the better I'm going to get. And so if it takes 10,000 times to be great at something, I want to get great at it faster. I don't want to take longer to master that. And so that's what I did, is I dove in and I invited more. And my first month was awful. I invited 400 people all to coaching, and 3 said yes. Very horrible success rate. But by month 2, I did that again and had 16 people say yes. But part of that was follow-up. And I think follow-up is key. And a lot of times we think we're being pushy if you're following up. Follow-up is where most people are going to say yes to you, but most people don't follow up more than 2 times. So become a master at follow-ups, and you'll have a much better success rate. But also, stop overthinking it, income producing activities, share with your team what you're doing. I didn't have trainings, so I didn't dump a bunch of trainings on my team. I just said, here's what I'm doing every day. You can do it too. Like, I'm earning Success Club every month. You can do it too. Here's exactly what I'm doing. And it was so simple and so basic that coaches jumped on board with that, because they're like, okay, I'm supposed to earn Success Club and earn customers from the company. Super cool. That's what she's doing. I'll do it too.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, you guys, we're wrapping up. I had 2 more questions come in really quick, if you wouldn't mind touching on them. The first one is if you have any advice with success with Beachbody leads. And the second one was, how do you balance inviting versus making connections? Salisha is asking, I've been feeling like I can't invite or send cold invites without connecting with someone somewhat first, and it has me feeling stuck. Do you guys have any advice on either of those 2? And then we'll let you go.
Yeah, I'll hit on the inviting connections. Like, so for me, connections are really easy, right? I call it toilet time activities, because you can literally sit on the toilet and just like make these connections where I'm finding girls who I feel like are my tribe. Like, and when I say my tribe, I picture them being at my retreat and drinking a glass of wine with me. Like, I'm looking for that chick who I feel like we're going to be friends. So I have my influencer pages that I follow, like big pages that are non-fitness related. So like Bachelorette contestants or Bravo celebs. And from there, I look at who's commenting. I follow them. I'm connecting with them. Like, that's really simple, y'all. Like Kristi said, don't overcomplicate it. Toilet time activity. I add those people to a collection on Instagram, right? And if I'm constantly doing that, and I will say, like, I give myself permission to work in front of my kids. I also give myself permission to put down my phone and have not, like, my phone isn't even in the room with me, but like, I have 2 twins that are a year old. I'm sorry, I'm kind of bored playing with them for 5 hours a day. Like, I know I'm not supposed to say that, but I'm bored, right? So like, I don't mind making connections while my kids I just admitted it to myself, Ashley. I feel like I need to keep admitting it so other moms admit it too. But I'm like bored. And so like, I'll make connections there. I'll put them into a collection, and then I can go invite them later. So constantly fill that pipeline by doing those activities, just like in your small cracks of time. And then you don't have to worry about it as much, but also don't overthink it. And I will send a cold invite. If I see a girl who I want on my team, I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to ask her, because here's what happens. I have kicked myself so many times. I'll fall in love with this girl, and the next thing I know, she's already a coach, or she's now doing Arbonne. I'm like, OMG, I lost her because I was letting it simmer. And I will not lose my girls who I want my next retreat anymore. So I don't always worry about it. And I'm just bold. I'm like, listen, like, I know this is like up front, but like, I think you could rock what I do. Have you ever thought about doing it? And I'm like in their face. And if they say no, that's like, oh, if they say no, or they are like, ew, like, that's gross. You don't even know me. And you're okay, bye. Who cares? See ya. Okay.
Yes, I love it. Okay, thank you so much, Ruth. Kristi, you want to take any advice that you have on Beachbody leads? Any success you have?
I mean, with anything, it's consistency, right? And kind of like Ruth was saying, or I think it was Ruth or Liz, someone said, they don't know who you are. Like, they don't even understand what this coach thing is. So consistently if you want to reach out to them every week, send an email, bulk email through your coach office. And over time, some people will start to get it, but definitely reach out to your customer leads, because one of the girls on our team, she was a customer lead, and she'd been doing 80-day obsession for however, I don't even remember when 80-day obsession came out, but she's been doing it since. And she enrolled as a coach a year ago. And in her first year, she's a full-time mom, full-time teacher, and she earned $24,000 in her first year. Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success or income, but that is like, she is incredible. And I would send an email every single week to find that one customer lead that wants to go all in on this. Like, an email takes so little time to send. You can send it bulk. But consistency, really, it's just, I don't have a special secret sauce. Most of them don't respond, but that's most people on social media. Like, they don't respond, they're not paying attention until they are. So even if it's the 50-second email you send and someone responds, like, and they go all in and they become your next superstar diamond coach, is it worth it?
I totally agree with you there. And I think it's important for newer coaches who are just getting leads. Maybe they don't know that usually you're not going to get a high response rate from leads right away. And I think everyone's email probably looks a little bit different, but just introducing yourself, asking them what their goals are, just being a genuine human like you would any customer, and offering to connect with them and support them in their journey. Okay, so we are over the hour. We are going to go ahead and wrap it up, but I wanted to end this with Ashley's comment in the thread. Their opinion doesn't change the reality. And I think that that's so important for all of us to remember right now. As the world is falling apart, as we're all trying to figure out how to share our love and be a light, do it. Because their opinion doesn't change the fact and the reality of why you signed up to be a coach, your passion to make a difference and be a positive light in this world. Their opinion right now, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. So keep showing up and being strong and encouraging as many people as possible, because they need us, you guys. Do not let their opinion change your reality. Thank you for sharing that, Ashley. Thank you guys so much for showing up. Thank you, Lee. Ruth just shared a lead template. I'll put it in our hot seat thread so that we can all share it with our teams. But you guys are amazing. I hope you have an amazing day today. And I'll talk to you later.